Hello, passionate Celtic FC fans. This is Celtic Central News, your exclusive source for Celtic updates. Before we kick off, we appreciate the incredible support. If you love Celtic, subscribe now, hit like, and let's build this community together. Now, onto the latest news. A warm welcome to new subscribers. Your support is crucial. Hail, hail. All right, folks, grab your cuppa and sit tight, because what I'm about to tell you is nothing short of massive in the world of Scottish football. The streets of Glasgow are buzzing, the pubs are roaring, and every green and white heart is trembling tonight. Word is out, Brendan Rodgers, the man who rebuilt Celtic's fire, the tactical genius who brought swagger back to paradise, has made a decision that's got everyone in shock. Reports suggest he's decided to step down at the end of 2025. Aye, you heard that right. The same Rodgers who once said Celtic was more than just a club, who promised a long-term vision, is now planning his exit. The timing couldn't be more surprising. The boys are in great form, the fans are behind him, and the board finally seems aligned. So why now? That's the million-pound question echoing from Parkhead to every corner of Scotland. Some say he's got bigger ambitions, maybe a Premier League return. Others whisper of frustration, politics behind the scenes, or perhaps just a man craving a new challenge. Whatever it is, this news has hit like a thunderclap across the Scottish football landscape, and the fallout is only just beginning. You can almost feel the disbelief spreading through Celtic Park. Brendan Rodgers, the man who walked back into Glasgow after his Leicester chapter, had convinced even the doubters that he was here to stay. He rebuilt the trust, reignited the fans' love, and put Celtic back on its pedestal of dominance. But now, rumors are swirling faster than the wind off the Clyde. Some insiders claim Rodgers has already informed the board privately, laying the groundwork for a mutual and respectful departure. Others insist it's a leak from within his camp, testing the waters before going public. What's strange is that this isn't about money or failure. This feels different. There's talk of him wanting to leave on his own terms, at a high point, rather than waiting for the decline that inevitably haunts every successful manager. Maybe he's protecting his legacy, or maybe there's something brewing behind closed doors. All that's certain is that the Celtic faithful are stunned. From the Green Brigade to the quiet old lads at the pub, nobody saw this coming, and now everyone's asking, what's next for the Hoops? You see, Rodgers' journey at Celtic has always been dramatic, almost cinematic. From his invincible first run to the heartbreak of his sudden Leicester departure, and then the redemption arc of his second spell, his story has been tied to the soul of this club. He's been more than a manager. He's been a symbol of modern Celtic, intense, passionate, demanding excellence. So to imagine him walking away again, and this time for good, feels surreal. Maybe it's fatigue. Managing Celtic isn't just about tactics. It's about pressure, pride, and politics. Every draw feels like a defeat, every misstep magnified by an entire nation watching. The Scottish Premiership might be small compared to the Premier League, but the expectations? Immense. And Rodgers, being the perfectionist he is, might just feel there's no higher peak left to climb. He's restored dominance, developed players, and brought European nights back to life. Perhaps, deep down, he knows this is the right time to bow out, to leave the stage while the applause still echoes, instead of waiting for the critics to circle back. What adds even more fuel to this storm is the silence. Complete, calculated silence from Rodgers himself. No denial, no statement, not even a hint of reassurance. For a man usually so measured in his words, that quietness speaks volumes. The fans are reading between the lines, and journalists are already piecing together clues from his recent interviews. Remember when he mentioned new horizons and personal evolution just last month? Maybe that was a breadcrumb, a subtle warning that he's been thinking about this for a while. Some close sources even say his family has grown restless in Scotland and might be keen to move back south. If that's true, it paints this as a personal decision rather than a professional fallout. Still, the board can't be happy. Losing Rodgers means losing stability, structure, and vision, everything that took years to rebuild after his first departure. For the players, especially the young ones he nurtured, this could be a massive emotional blow. There's talk of confusion in the dressing room, uncertainty creeping in, and the weight of what's to come pressing hard on everyone's shoulders. And what a twist it would be for the Scottish game if Rodgers truly walks away again. His presence has lifted the entire Premiership, not just Celtic. Every team, every manager, every derby has had that extra edge knowing they're up against one of the best minds in British football. Without him, the dynamic shifts dramatically. Rangers might smell blood, Aberdeen and Hearts could dream bigger, and the media circus will feed off every scrap of this story. But for Celtic, it's more than a headline. It's a transition of identity. Who follows him? Who dares to step into those shoes? The names being whispered already range from the realistic to the ridiculous. Some say Graham Potter, others talk about an ex-player like Scott Brown returning. Whoever it is, they'll inherit a club in shock, a fan base divided between gratitude and heartbreak, and a legacy impossible to replicate. Rodgers leaving Celtic in 2025 won't just be a managerial change. It'll be the end of an era that defined modern Scottish football's rhythm and intensity. Still, amidst all the noise and speculation, one thing remains certain. Brendan Rodgers has written himself into Celtic folklore, no matter how this ends. The trophies, the invincibles, the style of play, and the passion he reignited, those moments can't be erased. But legends are complicated, aren't they? They're loved and hated, praised and criticized, sometimes in the same breath. Rodgers knows that better than anyone. If he truly steps down at the end of 2025, he'll be leaving behind not just a team, but a culture he helped shape. The question that lingers now is how he'll be remembered, as the man who gave Celtic back its swagger or the one who walked away twice when fans believed the story wasn't finished. Either way, the countdown to 2025 just got a lot more intense, and every match, every press conference, every whisper will now carry the weight of what's to come. The calm before the storm is over. The next chapter in Celtic's history has already begun to write itself. Now the second part, folks, is where things get even more intriguing. The rumor mill hasn't stopped spinning since the story broke, and insiders are now talking about what Rodgers' departure could really mean behind the curtain. There's a growing belief that this isn't just a case of a manager getting tired. This might be a silent standoff between Rodgers and the Celtic board. Apparently, there have been disagreements over transfer budgets, youth investment, and the long-term European strategy. Rodgers has reportedly been pushing for a more aggressive approach in Europe, demanding signings with real Champions League pedigree. The board, however, has been cautious, focusing on sustainability and financial balance. That philosophical divide might have reached a breaking point. In private, some staff are saying Rodgers feels boxed in, limited by the club's unwillingness to take risks. If that's true, then his decision to walk could be as much about frustration as it is about ambition. He's a man who wants to compete with Europe's elite, not just dominate the domestic scene. And if Celtic can't match that energy, maybe he feels it's time to hand the reins to someone who can live within those limits without losing sleep at night. But you know how it goes in football. Every end sparks a dozen new beginnings, and now the whispers are getting wilder. Rumor has it that Rodgers might already be on the radar of a few English clubs quietly planning for 2026. Newcastle, if Eddie Howe were to move on. Maybe even Manchester United, if the chaos continues. There's even talk of a potential return to the international scene. Imagine Rodgers leading a national team project, maybe even England or Ireland. He's got the charisma, the tactical mind, and the reputation to handle that kind of challenge. Whatever his next step, you can bet it won't be small. Rodgers doesn't do quiet exits. He plans, he times, and he delivers drama like a master storyteller. What's fascinating is how this potential move will test Celtic's stability. If the club can't prepare a successor properly, this could be the biggest managerial vacuum Scotland's seen in years. It's like watching a storm build over the horizon. You can't stop it, but you can feel the tension growing with every passing day. For the players, this could turn into a defining period. Some might rally to give Rodgers the perfect send-off, turning the final months of his reign into a fairy tale farewell. Others might already be thinking about their own futures, wondering if they fit into what comes next. Think about the likes of Kyogo, McGregor, O'Reilly, players who flourished under Rodgers' system. Will they stay loyal to the club, or will they see his exit as a sign to move on too? Celtic's entire project could hinge on how they manage this transition. Fans, of course, are split down the middle. Some say Rodgers deserves the freedom to go when he wants, that he's earned the right to leave on his own terms. Others are furious, seeing this as another betrayal, a repeat of his first departure, a wound reopening just as it had healed. And that emotional divide could make the next year inside Celtic Park one of the most intense atmospheres in modern football. Every win will feel like a goodbye, every goal like a reminder of what's slipping away. Meanwhile, the Scottish media are having an absolute field day. Every headline, every panel, every talk show is dissecting the story from every angle. Some pundits are calling it inevitable, saying Rodgers was never going to settle for domestic dominance alone. Others insist the timing is too suspicious, that there's something deeper going on, maybe even a pre-contract discussion already happening behind closed doors. And then there's the fan conspiracy corner, always colorful, claiming this is all a bluff, a negotiation tactic to pressure the board into loosening the purse strings. It's classic Scottish football theater, emotion, rumor, passion, and politics all wrapped into one chaotic story. But beneath all that noise lies a real truth. Brendan Rodgers leaving Celtic isn't just about football, it's about identity. It's about ambition meeting limitation. And in a country where football is practically religion, that clash cuts deep into the heart of every supporter, whether they wear green or blue. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. You can almost feel the echo of history here. Celtic have seen great managers come and go: Stein, O'Neill, Lennon, Ange, and every departure has reshaped the club's future in unexpected ways. Rodgers' exit, if confirmed, could mark the dawn of yet another transformation. Some optimists say this is a chance for renewal, for fresh ideas and modernization. Others fear it's the start of a downward slide, especially if Rangers capitalize on the instability. The truth, as always, will depend on what the board does next. Will they bring in someone bold, with a European mindset, or play it safe with a domestic name who knows the Scottish scene? The stakes couldn't be higher. One wrong move, and Celtic's dominance could crumble faster than anyone expects. But if they get it right, this could be the moment that defines the next decade. For now, the fans just want clarity, an honest word from Rodgers, a glimpse into what the future holds. But as of today, all they've got are whispers and wild guesses swirling through the autumn air of Glasgow. And so, we reach the heart of it. Brendan Rodgers, the man who gave Celtic hope, pride, and power, might be preparing to close his chapter once more. Whether he's heading for England, Europe, or simply a well-earned break, his departure will leave a void no tactics board can fill. But maybe, just maybe, that's the beauty and the curse of football. It moves, it evolves, it breaks hearts and builds legends, all in the same breath. Celtic will carry on. They always do. But something will feel different when the day finally comes. Paradise will still roar, the songs will still rise, but there'll be a shadow where once stood a man who demanded greatness. If the rumors are true, and Brendan Rodgers really leaves at the end of 2025, he'll walk out not as a villain or a saint, but as both. A complex figure whose love for the club burned bright enough to light up Scottish football, and maybe, just maybe, too bright to last forever. As the Heart Celtic saga unfolds, it becomes increasingly clear that the story is not just about one player or one club, but about the intricate interplay of ambition, loyalty, and respect that defines professional football. Each rumor, analysis, and social media reaction adds depth to the narrative, transforming it into a complex dialogue about the human dimension behind the sport's competitive facade. Heart's forthrightness has emboldened discussions about player welfare, ethical club management, and the often unseen pressures faced by professionals navigating high-stakes environments. The ongoing speculation highlights the potency of narrative, where timing, phrasing, and context converge to create a story that captivates, divides, and energizes the football community. Fans, pundits, and media outlets continue to dissect the implications of Heart's comments, exploring everything from recruitment and contract policies to the psychological toll of perceived neglect. The saga underscores the importance of communication, respect, and recognition in sport, serving as a cautionary tale as well as a talking point for future generations of players and managers. As debate rages on, one thing is certain: Joe Hart's candid reflections have left an indelible mark, transforming his retirement into a story that will resonate across Scottish football and beyond, provoking questions, stirring emotions, and keeping fans and analysts talking long into the future. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.